How's it going, friends? Welcome to another episode of the To the Twin Cities Live podcast. Today we are looking at North Loop, Minneapolis. We've done quite a few videos on North Loop. I think we've done just a virtual tour. We've done an experience video, I think a pros and cons, and I think a comparison of North Loop to Uptown, which are kind of cousins. And yeah, North Loop has a lot going on. I think it's a fairly searchable neighborhood. You might have just happened upon North Loop by figuring out where you were going to stay or where stuff was happening, because a lot of the goings on in Minneapolis happen in North Loop. So
where do the Twins play?
Yeah, yeah. Where's the farmer's market? There's a lot going on. We're going to dive into it in this video. This is here sort of as a resource to people who maybe they're, are interested in an area. They've watched a virtual tour, they've watched an experience video, and they want to dive in even further to a certain neighborhood. And so hopefully that's helpful to you if you happen to find this, whether it's on the actual live or down the road when this live is, a year old or something like that. Yeah, this YouTube channel is called To the Twin Cities. My name is Jesse Lynch. I run a real estate team called To the Twin Cities. And this YouTube channel is just like this video is here as a resource. It's for you, whether you're moving here or you already live here. It's all about helping you find a place to call home here in the Twin Cities. And we help a lot of clients as a real estate team who are relocating from a different city, state, country, planet, dimension. Or we also help a lot of people who are buying a home for the first time. And now more and more we're helping folks who are, have already owned homes, who are sort of doing the step-up buy from a starter house to a more forever home or somewhere in between. And that, if you have an interest in working with us, feel free to reach out. We have a website, tothetwincities.com, where there's a contact form that you can fill out in 30 seconds or less, or you can shoot us an email directly to info@tothetwincities.com. Also, everybody on the team has their own respective emails, name at tothetwincities.com. They will tell you that as they start their segments, but if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, hi. Would love any kind of question, whether you're watching live or watching this later. Leave a comment, and we would love to be able to answer any questions that you have. Real quick, I'm going to dive into just to show you where North Loop is in the metro. Am I pipped? Not yet. I'm pipped. So obviously Minneapolis, St. Paul. North Loop is in Minneapolis. It is right in the downtown core, so right where the name Minneapolis is going to be on pretty much every map. And then in kind of the northwest section of what is known as Central Minneapolis. So Central Minneapolis includes a bunch of stuff: Loring Park, Downtown East, Downtown West, the Mill District, North Loop, and I think even Stevens Square. And North Loop is the sort of northernmost and northwestmost neighborhood in the Central Minneapolis community. And yeah, again, a lot of stuff going on. Nick's going to get into sort of lifestyle for maybe the social adult aspect. That sounded weird. But right now we're going to kick over to Amber. Amber's going to talk about sort of family fun. What fun is there to be had in North Loop? I really believe that North Loop is a place that you will end up in. Even if you live a half hour away, you'll end up in North Loop for one thing or another. It is very much like a magnet for events and such. But anyway, we'll go over to Amber, talk through some of that stuff.
What's up, everybody? I'm Amber Rhodes. We're going to talk about all the fun things to do in North Loop, and you wouldn't think hey, there might be family fun things. There actually are a lot of things. If you want to work with me or know more, you can shoot me an email, amber@tothetwincities.com. Also, my Instagram is amber_to_the_twin_cities. All right, let's dive in here. We're going to start with one of the very well-known things about Minnesota is the Minnesota Twins. So go catch a game, go bring the family. They have food for every type of dietary restriction, which is awesome. It was built in 2010, and they kind of put them on the board here and on a national stage by hosting the 2014 MLB All-Star Game. Did you guys know that?
I didn't know it was 2014, but I knew that they early on in Target Field's existence, they had an all-star game.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful place. It's a huge neighborhood attraction. I mean, like Jesse said, at one point or another, I mean, that is going to just draw you there, and it's a beautiful outdoor place to see your sports. All right, next we're going to go to sports ball. Next, we're going to go to the Target Center, which is another place that just offers so many things. From concerts to let's go see a Lynx game, let's go see a Timberwolves game. Stuff for the kids, we got Disney on Ice, we got Hot Wheels, monster trucks. It's just they've just got a lot of things that is always kind of coming to the Target Center, and it's just really huge. So go check that out. One of my favorite things to go do on the weekends is head up the Farmers Market. Farmers Market, founded in 1876.
Okay.
It's actually one of the longest running outdoor markets in the Midwest.
Oh.
This thing is huge. I mean, it just like keeps getting bigger too, which is really awesome.
It is giant. It's like a mini state fair.
Yeah.
If you miss the state fair,
It totally is.
Minneapolis Farmers Market, good substitute.
Yes.
For those 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
When it's not those 2 weeks, I should say.
It's on the corner of Lyndale and Glenwood Avenue North. They have so many different vendors. Whether you're looking for vegetables or you're looking for flowers, I mean, they have people like that make the most, artisanal bread, jewelry, everything. Tons and tons of variety as far as the vendors go. That's actually where Herbivorous Butcher got their start, was at the Farmers Market.
I think I knew that.
And then they did the food truck, and now they've got the standalone. So, but yeah, that's the first place I ever went to go buy that stuff. All right, this next place is a place that I cannot wait to go try. If you've been there, please tell us in the comments what you thought of it and what thing you made. So this is called the Upstairs Circus. Basically, it's like a DIY meets a bar. You can bring your family, your friends, go on a date night. So basically what you have to do, you have to reserve a spot, and then you get to pick your project. Concrete coasters, magical catch bottle opener, you got concrete catch-all, a leather wallet. You can make some cool jewelry. This is the one I want to try too, the nail string art. It's like you can, they basically set you up with the project, and then the other really cool thing about this place is the names of their cocktails. Hey, Steve, would you like a circus donkey or the strong man's punch? Perhaps the pink elephant or Julius the Great. I don't know. I just think that I like when places, theme it out and really sort of commit the whole thing to that.
Reasonable prices on those cocktails too, I see, compared to some craft cocktail bars.
Yeah, absolutely. So that seems like a really cool place to check out. Especially if you're just into crafting, but you want to be social. I think it's like a good way.
Totally.
Never mind that. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is the trapped puzzle rooms. Have you guys done these things?
I feel like not.
Yeah. So they're like puzzle rooms. So there's 9 different experiences. You can basically, it's like you have to figure them out in order to do them, and you get to pick whatever this. Eternity Battle super sequels, but it's like you can't get out until you figure out all of these different clues, which I don't know. I feel like, and there's kid and adult versions, so there's plenty of options for the whole family, which I think sound really, really cool. So they have good descriptions online for you to see before you kind of commit what you're going to bring your group to, but I don't know, go check it out. This is a place, go grab your parent friends, bring your kiddos, go make a day of it. Go shopping at Pacifier. It's like a large boutique restaurant, amazing products, restaurant. It's not, it's a store to buy products. You can go to a restaurant after you go buy your shops.
Yeah, within walking distance of
go to Nolo's across, basically a kind of kitty corner. So yeah, you can go shopping, but they've got really boutique stuff, kind of more high end. different items there, books, toys, apparel for your kids. So it's just like a fun place to go with your kids. They can go grab the toys and check out everything. And anyways, check that place out. Last but not least, I think this is really cool. So this is the 4th Avenue Playground. This is a sawmill themed. So like the whole playground is the sawmill theme. They have an amphitheater, bandstand, biking path, boat dock, drinking fountain, garden, grill, and they've got public art as well as a tot lot. New word for me. But yeah, it's just a really beautifully made, cool playground for kids. And again, that sort of sawmill vibe there. But yeah, we have so many nice days in Minnesota. Go play with the kids.
That's right by the river, right?
Yes. Go tire out the kids. Grab some delicious food at one of the many restaurants that are out there. And North Loop has a ton of options for your family. But that's all I got. So sending it back your way.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. It is. I think North Loop is not exactly. The first thing you don't think of necessarily is going to be kid stuff, right? It's like. It's a very like nightlife is like what you think of, but it is cool to see that there is that stuff, right? And there's so many things there that it makes sense that there would be some of those options as well. Another thing, kind of as we're talking about it, if you could pit me, Paul, we have so North Loop is also known as, or part of it is known as the Warehouse District. They used to sort of be synonymous with each other, but now the Warehouse District is kind of a smaller section within the North Loop, and also it's a smaller section within the North Loop, mostly to the northeastern section of North Loop, and you have the reason it's called the Warehouse District is because a lot of the architecture is derived, or it was old warehouses that probably were serving largely like companies that were had sort of a hold or a foothold in what is now known as the Mill District, right? So like Pillsbury and the likes, Gold Meadow Flour, actually. So let me go back here. We got street views going here. There's a lot of, actually I'm going the wrong way. I'm trying to get to the Hewing Hotel, beautiful spot. I believe I was filming there during the virtual tour. Really cool building. This used to be the building where I went to college. It used to be IPR. It wasn't quite this pretty back then. They've put a lot of money into the facade, and it is quite lovely. Across the street from it, deja vu, gonna just breeze over that. But yeah, it is kind of a landmark. And I love this bridge. I've always thought this bridge is a really beautiful part of Minneapolis. But so this is the aesthetic of a lot of the North Loop. Basically just like very updated warehouses, a lot of which now are condos, with maybe like a main floor of retail space. Nick is going to talk about kind of like what's going on there, as far as like what are some of the specific items that you can enjoy. But yeah, like this view right here, this is a perfect example of what you would see in the North Loop. Just a huge old warehouse that has since been converted into lofts, really great loft spaces, exposed brick, exposed beams, a lot of that sort of like character. And this is going to be extremely difficult to find anywhere else in the Twin Cities, like this kind of a character. Maybe a little bit of that in downtown St. Paul, a tiny bit, and maybe a tiny bit of it in Northeast, but that is pretty much it.
Random buildings here and there, but the highest concentration for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a fairly, I think Nick will get into this too, but a fairly affluent part of downtown. You're gonna dive into it deeper, and that's okay.
Just easy.
But yeah, so it's it's a very like aesthetically kind of like, I don't know, satisfying place, and a lot of new stuff is going in here. So like you can see down here, this is at 9th and Washington. It starts to get pretty new down here, and they're maybe like blending in some of the older like warehouse spaces like this, but you also have like a good amount of new builds going on there as well. Yeah, I think. What do you say, Nick? You ready? Should we kick it over to you?
Yeah.
Nick's gonna absolutely crush what the lifestyle of North Loop, Minneapolis is.
Cool. How's it going, everyone? Nick, host here. Hope everybody's doing well. Nick at To the Twin Cities is how you can reach me, as well as my cell phone, 612-708-8910. Hit me up. We'd be happy to help with anything. So I'll be a little bit redundant here with a few of the items. North Loop is a very dense urban environment. It's kind of the entertainment capital of Minneapolis, if you will. There are many things going on down there. Just a few stats. So according to niche.com, 70% of the folks that live in this area do rent their homes, which is kind of in line with all the arts and entertainment. People like to be here and go out and do things and not be tied to a mortgage per se. Also, to Jesse's point earlier, the median household income in North Loop is $110,000, so people are doing well over there, and it is a spendy place to be. I mean, these arts and entertainment places, they cost money. Also, that said, median rent is $1,961 per month. So it's a nice spot. It's nestled kind of right up against the Mississippi River. What's the name of the road here? Great River Road.
Or the River Parkway. West River Parkway.
Which I used to always drive into for our meetups at Prize. It's a very beautiful place to walk. I believe the park that Amber was mentioning is right along there as well, which is the North Loop Playground.
Yeah.
Right next to the Mississippi Walking Trail. Again, it's a bustling environment. Rustic industrial condos kind of make up the types of properties that are in this area. So it's a really cool feeling spot as well. Some things to do. This is going to be kind of a long list, but there's a little bit of everything for everyone. Red Cow is there, which is kind of an American burger joint, but they do have some cool kind of spin-off type options. I personally love their ahi tuna burger. If anybody's ever had it, it's fantastic. Runyon's, which is a spot right off Washington, they got the wings. The buff wings there are redonkulous. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, but I'm a huge blue cheese guy. Their blue cheese is next level. It's so good. So if you're a chicken wing fan, check that out. Spoon and Stables, kind of like a more trendy, chef-inspired, farm-to-table type spot, if you will. Their menu is French-inspired. Kieran's Irish Pub is also in the area, so a nice place to grab some beers and maybe go out before a Timberwolves or a Twins game. Amber mentioned Target Center and Target Field are in the area as well, so those are definitely going to be better for your family attractions. Cowboy Jack's downtown is also a really well-known spot if you're trying to go out and
let it
rip some gray babes before some sporting events. It's definitely a rowdy place, no pun intended. First Avenue, one of the most iconic places in Minnesota, is kind of on the southwestern border. They're still putting on shows and concerts there. Definitely worth a visit. Gray's Provisions and Libations, which is right across from Target Center as well. It's kind of a cafeteria style place where you can go and hang out. There's local businesses kind of all in this one little area, as well as a few bars. There's a rooftop, and then they've got kind of an outdoor hangout space with like some crushed granite type vibes with picnic tables, and they do have entertainment during the warm months as well.
Gray's is super cool.
It's very cool. Yeah, those types of concepts are becoming more prevalent, which I actually really like. Kind of encourages a different level of socialization other than just like chilling in a bar. At any rate,
options and whatever.
Yeah. Free House is also another location, kind of an American brew pub style place with pub eats. I guess I don't know how else I would describe that. Paul got psyched about Free House.
But it's not. Yeah, it's pubby, but it's not like. It's kind of high end. It's not like hole in the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of food.
That is the whole vibe of North Loop as a whole. We've been talking about all these other things. It is a very upscale feeling neighborhood, in my opinion.
Outside of Runyon's.
Yeah. But that's
You want to
nice.
keep it real, go to Runyon's.
But a great place to like bring a date or anything,
Oh,
you know,
so much to do.
to
down
meet
there.
with a client or something like that. North Loop is going to be a really good spot.
We meet people at Spy House down there, one of their however many locations are in the metro. I want to say it's like 7. I was going to say 8.
I think could be 8.
Smack Shack is down there, pretty well-known seafood joint. Nolo's Kitchen and Bar, which is American comfort food. You've also got Bar La Grassa, which is a very well-known Italian spot in the downtown area.
Very good.
Hard to get a reservation there, I hear.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what time, but yeah, I got one same day.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
but
Well,
yeah.
I stand corrected. Parlor Bar, one of, I want to say maybe like 3 locations. There's one in St. Paul, but cool little joint there. Spy House Coffee, I already mentioned. Backstory Coffee is more of like a local type spot, and then of course you've got Starbucks. There's a Starbucks probably about every 3 or 4 blocks in downtown, so if you're a diehard, you can certainly get your fix there. Also, one thing worth noting, there's a Whole Foods right on the, I want to say it's the southeast or eastern corner, so there is a place to get groceries if you're into Whole Foods. Stock and Spade is more of a fast casual, like vegan, vegetarian spot that's pretty new and I think has fairly good reviews from what I've observed. And then Crisp and Green, which is another kind of trendy, kind of fresh, healthy type spot.
Fast casual.
Fast cash, yeah.
Salads and stuff.
But also go in there for 2. I mean, you're talking like $35-$40, you know, so it's kind of in between. And then also Pizza Luce downtown, of course. Got to shout out Luce. Okay,
One of the best delivery games.
yeah.
That downtown
Fast.
Luce is unbelievable. Yeah, it's crazy.
We were just talking about
Good
them too
after.
the other day. They have some really great gluten-free and vegan options. They were one of the first pizza spots, I think, to really kind of put their stamp on that market. So if that's part of your lifestyle,
Before you move on from restaurants, I have to shout out 3 that have not been mentioned, but
Please
3
do.
of my faves: Sanju-san, Billy Sushi, and 112 Eatery, all in North Loop, in addition to all the other ones that Nick has mentioned. But
are we pipped on the map?
I'm picked. What do you?
I mean, just like zoom in and show people. I mean,
I'm showing. Yeah.
there's a restaurant every 2 feet.
So,
it's
yeah.
ridiculous.
I would say, in my opinion, the highest density of really, really good restaurants in the Twin Cities is
Yeah.
in North Loop.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, the highest rated and yeah, for sure. That's it.
I already mentioned First Avenue, but the Fillmore, Minneapolis, which is a music venue, is adjacent to Target Field. Really cool spot to catch some live entertainment. There's also a restaurant attached called Trax Burgers and Bar, which I've actually been to. It's quite tasty. Their beers are quite pricey, but the ambiance is nice, and the food is actually very high quality. I was happy with my visit. We've covered a lot of bars and restaurants. There are some places to go and work out. There's an Orange Theory, as well as an Alchemy 365 fitness studio. These are definitely more group fitness geared as opposed to your traditional gym/health club, which next being the Lifetime Fitness in the bottom of Target Center. So you've got a little bit of everything. It is somewhat self-contained actually for being a very small area of Minneapolis. You can pretty much get everything you need right there. Stone Arch Bridge is a short walk away. The Hennepin Bridge going over into St. Anthony, Maine is right there with the Grain Belt beer sign. So there's definitely places where you can get out and get a little fresh air, kind of have a look at the river.
Was this must have been in the most walkable video, but was this number 1? would you
Well,
say?
I
Or
said
behind
it was
Uptown?
number 2. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's neck and neck. Uptown and North Loop are. It's hard to compare the two, or hard to say one is more walkable than the other.
For sure.
I think there's a higher density of restaurants and some things, but then there are certain things that you
Outside
don't.
of the Whole Foods, there's not
Yeah.
a ton for just general errand running
Yeah.
in North Loop.
Which is also obviously a very high price point, you know.
Yeah, Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Yeah, whole paycheck.
But I mean, your median income is $110K, so it may be a moot point for the folks that are living there.
Right, and but still, it's like there's one grocery store on the edge, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas Uptown, there's a little bit more of that, and like I don't know, certain things. Not that this applies to the walkability aspect, but like there's certain things that just don't exist in North Loop, like a auto shop.
Sure.
You know, like certain things that you just
right.
have to leave North Loop for.
It's dense urban.
There is a Holiday though.
Yeah, there is.
Dude, where isn't there one?
True.
I will
That's why
say,
I love it so much.
not in North Loop, but your best bet for groceries outside of Whole Foods would maybe be the Target off Nicollet.
Yeah. Or Trader Joe's.
TJ's, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So there are spots that are a short walk or Uber away. I would say that, and we'll get into this in some of my picks, a lot of condos and a lot of these apartments will have 1 or 2 parking stalls, but I would imagine, to your point, we were just talking about, most people are walking or maybe even using the Uber like scooters.
Yeah.
I see people using those down
A
there.
lot of scooting going on,
Yeah,
for sure. For sure.
Other than that, I just had a few landmarks, which were the Hewing Hotel, which I believe we already chatted about earlier, one of the most historic hotels in all of Minneapolis. And then the Star Tribune building is down there as well. Really cool spot. Lots of historic brick buildings. It's really a marvel of architecture down there and very hip happening. So that's all I've got for lifestyle, unless you fellas have anything to add.
I would say don't sleep on the breweries. They're two great options. I think there's more than that, but 2 of my faves, Modest and Fulton, are in North Loop. They're tap rooms. So yeah, check
As
those
well
out.
as Inbound Brew Co.
I would, yeah.
And Prize is like
Right
barely
on
out
the
of the
edge.
limits.
What was
It's
the
right-
one? What was the one with the first weed cider?
Was that?
Oh,
Not that I would know anything about any.
Price.
I don't know which one that
Cider
was.
Co. Right? Minneapolis Cider Co. I think.
Oh, okay. Is that North Loop?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a big cider guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Axbridge Wine Co. too. That's like a wine spot. Cool like patio situation. I would like to shout out Acme Comedy Company. Very cool. Paul and I went there recently, actually. See a beautiful Greek man. But no, it was super fun. It's a great venue. It's fairly renowned from like a major comedian standpoint. Like people talk about it as one of the great comedy clubs. Low ceilings, dark. Yeah, just a cool vibe. But a great place to see comedy for sure, and
That's
just
off First Street, right by the Star Tribune building.
yeah, the Star and Tribune, as my mom calls it. Yeah, but yeah, it's a very cool little spot over there, easy to navigate to, chill like little corner of North Loop, and then yeah, right now I'm kind of taking a virtual stroll down the River Road, which is a really just such a great
It's
drive.
ridiculous.
A great place to
Really nice.
walk, ride your bike, walk your dog, whatever.
Cool townhomes.
Yeah, really,
We'll see.
really beautiful. Yeah, there's Nick's picks.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got 1 or 2 in there.
These townhomes are pretty great. I've looked at quite a few with clients over the years.
One of the few non-condo options.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
As close to a single family as you'll get over there. Also, I'll add one thing in the way of lifestyle and things to do. It kind of blends into 2 neighborhoods. But the Aquatennial Festival every year at the end of summer takes place kind of right along the river there, bleeds over into the Mill City area. But the fireworks show there is just incredible. I have yet to see anything on the 4th of July in any of the many cities in Minnesota I've been to that compares to it. So,
Love that.
yeah.
I think another thought too is there is you have good access to the light rail in North Loop. So again, in that like walkability aspect, public transportation, you can hop on both lines from right there. I believe from Target Field, right? But I think both lines end at Target Field.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Don't quote me on that, but I think that's true. And which is, so you could get
And
to
Target Center, yeah. 'cause
Yeah.
those are 2 of the biggest attractions that would kind of call for that.
Right, yeah.
I've taken buses there as well,
Yeah,
Yeah, there is a
for Eden Prairie.
light rail stop at Target.
I went underground.
Confirmed.
Checks out.
But yeah, so and tons of parking too over there. But I do think that that access to that makes it pretty nice, and makes it kind of the like the destination that it is. By the way, hi Justin RB. Hello. That's my brother's name. Good name. Good strong name. There's also kind of all this walking trail stuff going on right by the River Road. Hard to kind of show it, but it kind of there's sort of like a dirt path that is not totally parallel, but kind of parallel to the paved path. And Yeah, just a really great spot along the river. But I believe now, first of all, we're not going to Alex for schools because there literally are no schools at all in North Loop. Obviously, there are schools that serve North Loop, but it's not exactly a school-heavy area. I think we're going to hop over. We're going to talk about at least, just the North Loop housing market and sort of, the cost and all that. Like Nick said, pretty renter dense, but there's still a lot of, really beautiful condo spaces, and still a good amount of volume, a decent amount of volume of transactions. Let's go over to Steve.
What's up, everybody? My name is Steve Wilk. You can reach me via email at steve@tothetwincities.com. My cell phone is 763-360-9291. Feel free to text or give me a call if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I'm talking about here, if you're interested in working with me. Instagram is Steve Wilk Realtor. North Loop real estate, the market. Typically what we like to do with this segment is take a look at everything that's sold from January 1st of 2022. So that is 172 transactions. So on the, Jesse just mentioned, there's a fair amount of volume in terms of closed transactions. Not nearly as much as we saw in Woodbury, for example, but still there are properties available in North Loop. Just to give you some perspective here, 0 single-family homes, as we were talking about. Of the 172, there was only 12 townhomes that sold between January 1st last year and today, and 160 condos. So pretty much all condos, very few townhouse options. Let's take a look and see what we're looking at here. So on the high end, what would you consider a penthouse condo would be, in the $2 million range at the highest point from what we saw last year. At the low end, $214,000 condo.
That's cheap for there.
Yeah, let's take a quick look, just see what that looks like.
I've looked at quite a few in like the million range, and man, that's there's some really beautiful stuff for right around $1 million. I'm sure Nick will talk about some of those.
Totally, but even this 214 one, looks very cool. Exposed brick, exposed wood beams, quite stylish. Tiny, but very, very cool. And this was the most affordable home that sold in North Loop last year. So interesting, just to kind of see what the housing stock is like there.
Oh, that's in the same building as Acme, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That looks familiar.
Those
huge.
Which is a cool building. It's a very unique a spot where the homes are they're kind of all different, right? Whereas which is mostly true of these warehouse spaces, is that the homes are different. But that one in particular, it also has that outdoor area. It's not outdoor, but there's the glass block ceiling, so it's
sure.
Yeah, it's like an open pavilion between the spaces. Very, very interesting, very unique, kind of one of a kind building in Minneapolis. But
Sure.
I digress.
Just a quick peek at the most expensive property that's sold in North Loop, $1.7 million. Obviously sick.
Let's go.
Of course, wine cellar. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So a little bit of both ends there. Just quickly take a look at the statistics. So if you'll notice, median sale price in North Loop really has not changed much since 2018. In 2018, it was $380. In 2022, it was $392.5, and all years in between, kind of hovering around that 400 range. We were talking about this before we started this live, but in the condo market, it's definitely different than the single-family home market. So you're typically not seeing properties go over list price, and this holds true. If you look at the list price median versus the closed price median, at no point did the closed price overtake the list price since 2018. And in 2023, obviously small sample size, but it's considerably lower. So median close price 347, median list price 444. So significantly lower, again, small sample size. And then if we just take a look at the last 10 years, just for a little bit more perspective. 2014, median close price was 283. So it grew steadily and then kind of significantly up until 2017, and it's been pretty much holding steady since then.
Which is, I think that's maybe interesting. Like in that, it seems like the North Loop area. I mean, it's been growing pretty steadily since, like I guess probably 2008. Like that, there was a lot of things got sort of built out in that area, like right before the crash. And if you bought something like in 2009, you could get it for like really cheap in downtown. And in North Loop, but pretty steady growth since then. And I think North Loop has sort of like really had come into its own by 2015, or maybe something like that, where it like had kind of fully arrived at what it is around then. And now there's still growth, which I think may lead to why prices don't rise, because the inventory is going up quite a bit, whereas the inventory in St. Louis Park is not. It stays the same over a long time. Whereas there are new things coming in from both an apartment and condo standpoint. So it's like the supply and demand relationship is different in condos in Minneapolis because there's still room for them to grow.
Totally. Yeah, it's still an expanding market. New builds coming in to a degree that is much different than other parts. Yeah, there's just not new single family homes coming in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
really.
They can add density here.
Right.
The supply can be increased.
Especially in an area like North Loop. Like North Loop and downtown East, where it's like they just were kind of like the edges of downtown, not much happening. It's like what a perfect spot to get rid of some ugly building. And,
or convert it. Yeah.
Not saying that these warehouses are ugly. Love these warehouses, but there definitely are some ugly buildings that could be changed.
But to your point, quickly though, so in 2015, median sale price was $295, and then by 2017, it had jumped all the way up to $375.
Interesting.
So huge jump in just those 2 years, and then since 2017, it's really held pretty steady, just right around that 375 to 400 range.
Interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so that is North Loop.
That's North Loop specific.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think at the end we can maybe after Nick's picks or whatever we can dive into kind of the market as a whole. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stick around. Kind of talk about what we're seeing in the market. Because it's it's always a little bit different from week to week. But do you have all those ready links wise, or do you want me to?
You can riff for just a second.
Okay. pull back the curtain. Let me riff. Yes.
I'll be done in like 30 seconds.
No, you're good. I'm not worried about it.
This man knows how to riff.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can kind of see on the map here, there's a lot of highway kind of weaving throughout North Loop. And that also sets some of the boundaries as well. I don't think we showed a street view at all of the farmers market, but it is a very cool farmers market.
Totally. It's a little weird that it's under a highway, but
it's
part of its charm, I would say.
Yeah. Not exactly like the freshest feeling in terms of like location, but it's super cool. It's very vibrant, very alive. There is a lot of parking because under the highway there's parking. It's huge, and I think it's a really cool part of like downtown life. And then I want to kind of show.
It's funny, we were talking about grocery stores, and we didn't really mention the farmers market as being like a potential.
True.
It's not the first thing you'd think of, when you're going shopping.
True.
For like your day-to-day life, but.
Is that a year-round thing as well?
It's not.
No, yeah, but yeah, I think it has. It would qualify, So the. Back on this little strip back here, it's First Street North, or North First Street. is kind of like the heart of the warehousey aspect of the North Loop. And there's some just really cool historical buildings. You can see at the end of the street, there's kind of this clock tower. That's the Star Tribune, which is like the Minneapolis newspaper. There's Star Tribune, and then there's Pioneer Press. Star Tribune is Minneapolis. There's the Cremette Company lofts. It's like really beautiful building. I love like the history of it. And there's some really cool, almost like townhome style back in here by the Cremette lofts that are very interesting. I actually don't remember. I don't know what they were, but they're kind of a converted warehouse space into townhouses that I think is really interesting and like, yeah, a very unique proposition. Like you, again, good luck finding that anywhere else. Minnesota Opera Building, and then right over here is the Acme Comedy Club that we mentioned before, and yeah, there's the Star Tribune building, the Borealis. That's like a new building, apartment based, and yeah, you ready?
Yeah,
cool. Let's we're going over to Nick for Nick's picks.
Nick's picks, installment number, we'll call it
8, 9,
maybe.
Something like that. Yeah.
So most of these are going to be condos, townhomes, similar to that. So our first one here, I did my darndest to stick within the price ranges that I typically roll with, and I believe I was able to find something in there at every level. So this one is a high-rise condo. It's a 1-bed, 1-bath, 820 square feet. We do have a 1 covered parking space. This one is $269K. And for some reference, we talked about the condo market being different than the single-family market. This one has been chilling for 166 days, which a lot of the stuff that I see is 200 plus, really. It's the resale value is different. Your association fee is $495 on this one monthly, just to give you an idea as well, which covers heating, cooling. It does have central heating and cooling, which I'll show you in a second. Cable TV, controlled access, internet, parking space, water, sewer, trash, and snow removal. So it's a full service building. So keeping that in mind with your payment. But as you can see for the outside of the building, this is kind of the vibe of North Loop.
very North Loopy.
Very North Loopy. You've got the huge kind of, we'll call them picture windows. But that cool industrial feel, you can see the newer ductwork, which adds to the vibe there. Exposed brick. It's a really cool feel. For $269 and 820 square feet, this is actually quite nice.
Yeah.
Stainless appliance suite. Love the wood grain on the cabinets there. You've got the concrete floors, which I think is a cool vibe as well. See a lot of folks dress those up with slick area rugs and stuff like that. Also, this building was renovated recently, but the building itself was built in 1920. So obviously, this has been done in more recent times.
Yeah, it's always weird looking at like what the age of these properties are, because they're all pretty much built. It feels like they've been all at least updated within the last like 10 years, but sometimes on the listing it'll say the year that the actual building was built, 1900, 1915, in this case 1920. But then you get some listings that'll say, like 2017.
Right.
And maybe the building was built then, but yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge just based on year in the listing.
So nice modern look overall, and also as you can see, in-unit laundry, which is a very nice touch. Shared rooftop space.
Cool.
Yeah, that's also one of the things I feel like no one's actually really mentioned, so I'll mention it now, but tons of these buildings do have rooftop spaces, so you've got some awesome skyline views in North Loop.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool shared area. All right, on to the next. Give me just a moment here.
Hey, while you're doing that, have you heard of Hops and Hounds?
I have.
Have you been?
I have. You already know what went down.
Yeah.
Been at a bad time.
Okay. I bet a lot of dogs have a good time.
Yeah. No, for dogs that
know your dog. I
very
already bring my
anxious.
dog there.
It's all concrete.
Not because it wouldn't be fun, but yeah.
They've got like a concrete indoor play area with like, ramps and all that. And you can get beer and fries and stuff like that. And then they've got an outdoor patio. It's quite cool though. All right, we're jumping up into the 300 to 550 roughly spot here. We've got a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,680 square foot condo here.
That's what's up.
2-car garages on this one, and this building was built in 1913. 26 days on the market currently, and your association fee on this one is $713 monthly. So
Okay.
definitely on the higher side, but again, central heating and cooling here, and pretty much the same amenities except for they're not paying for your utilities on this one. So hazard insurance, exterior maintenance, water, sewer, trash management. But anyway, really high ceilings here. Love the look, very open and airy. Kind of reminds me of some of the first floor units in the Sexton building over kind of in the heart of downtown. Really industrial. Love the wrought iron railing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Still got the wood. That's cool.
Yeah, and a lot of these condos, you can see the ceiling fan up there. They will have those to kind of push some of the air down because you can definitely lose some of your...
A lot of cubic feet
Yeah.
on those.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
super high ceilings.
Exposed brick. Got the oversized windows. And again, with the exposed ductwork. Just a really cool industrial feel. It doesn't feel sterile to me though, and this one also has a wood flooring product. It looks like it might be vinyl plank, but it's kind of hard to tell. Might actually be real wood. Gas range. People die on that hill. It's a thing. People love their gas ranges.
It is
That's
Very slick. Love that stairway.
super cool.
Yeah, goes in line with the industrial feel.
Lofted bedroom.
Yep, very common to have the loft. You can see the cinder block there as well. Just really nicely done. And again, $575,000 for this one. 26 days on the market.
Outdoor space is private there. Hard to tell.
Yeah, looks like it.
That's pretty cool.
Well, maybe not. This says 219. It might be on the second floor. Hard to say.
Okay.
Looks like they have a balcony for sure. Sweet. On to the next.
Common spaces look pretty cool in that building as well.
Yeah, and again, you can see the vibe there. Brick
Yeah.
buildings, large
Totally.
windows. All right, give me 1 second. This is all just shared space. Cool. On to the next one. We have a 3-bed, 3-bath, side-by-side townhouse. This is 1,700 square feet and some change. And this one has been on the market only for 4 days. $505 monthly association fee.
Reasonable.
Yeah, not bad. Exterior, they maintain the exterior. You've got cable TV, internet, lawn care, professional management, sanitation, and snow removal. So you're paying all your own utilities pretty much still. Loved the kitchen on this one. And I will add the build date on this one was 2000. Kind of get a mix of that in downtown.
Yeah.
2000 and newer, or like turn of the century.
Seriously, yeah.
Beautiful.
Definitely a different vibe than the condos we were just taking a look
Much
at.
different. This is as close to like single family as you'll get, not being in a high rise. 1 garage stall, a little balcony here is nice, and they allow grills. It looks like they actually have a gas hook up there, unless I'm making stuff up. It might be an extension
No,
cord.
I believe that.
Does it look like a gas hookup?
Yeah. Oh.
It's hard to
Maybe
tell.
that might be an extension cord.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it's beautiful, and they've even got a grand piano in there. Weird flex. Just kidding. In-unit laundry, which you'd hope at $675,000. Just a really spacious place. It actually shows like it's more than 1,700 square feet to me personally.
Yeah, I wonder how many levels it is. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, let's
More
see.
than 2, it looks
It says more than 2 stories. Looks like kind of a 3-level. One of those things probably where you enter through the garage, go up, there's a landing, main level, up, and a landing. That's how a lot of those townhouses are built these days. I know this one's 20-some years old, but it's still pretty new though, honestly.
Those days.
And then the 1 garage stall.
Cool.
Yeah, it's still kind of got the cool brick look, but obviously you can tell it's much newer. It's almost like a modern brownstone look. I guess I'd describe it as that. Alrighty, moving on to our next one here. Give me just a moment. So this is going to be $750K to $1 million. We're at $900,000 here. 2 beds, 3 baths, 2,000 square feet and some change. This one does have 2 covered stalls, and this is another condo high-rise. Your association fee on this one is $1,430 monthly.
Okay.
Ouch.
That's pretty big.
Let's
Up
see.
there.
But for that, how expensive is the house? Is the
900.
900,000.
Sure.
Yeah. Building exterior, cable TV, insurance, internet, maintenance, parking space, management, sanitation, snow and lawn, water and sewer. So you're paying for, your utilities, I guess.
Yeah.
Gas and electric. I'm curious to know what kind of internet they have. But anyway, it's a beauty. And this one was built in 2005. Like we were saying, either really old or really new.
Cool view.
Yeah, nice views. Got the glam chandelier there. Love that.
Glammed out.
Yeah, right? Hope I'm-
Modest kitchen, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, for 900K. It's nice though. I mean, I like the vibe of the place. And again, you've got the polished concrete floors, which is very common. This is kind of why I picked
Whoa.
it. This is the primary
Sick.
bedroom. Cool views there, again, with the large array of windows. Walk-in closet, got the double vanities. In-unit washer and dryer. Nice spot. Cool building.
Oh
too.
yeah, I recognize that building. Yeah, it's
Got a lot of
funky
architectural,
exterior.
architectural interest. And you've got some green space out here as well, which I'm a big fan of. You know, it's kind of like that Central Park feel, you know, when you're in the concrete jungle. Not quite.
Yeah.
Not quite, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no
Being
doubt.
in North Loop, aside from the Riverwalk,
Same
there's
idea.
there's not a plethora of green space over there.
Sure.
And you've got the gym as well. City views and access to the light rail. So our last one here is $1 million plus. And this is going to be another townhouse, I believe. Yeah, side-by-side townhouse. This one is a 3-bed, 4-bath, 4,100 square feet and some change, 1.2 million. This one's been on the market for 54 days, and it was built in 96.
It's a big spot.
It's huge.
Yeah.
$565 monthly, much more palatable. That's better though than 1,400
It's just cheap.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
that's,
I know.
what
that's
I'm saying.
really low. Yeah.
I'm shocked.
for a townhouse.
I was
It's
expecting it
got
to be like $3,000.
building exterior, hazard insurance, outside maintenance, parking management, water, sewer, trash, and snow removal. So it doesn't include a lot, but
I guess townhomes you typically have way
True,
fewer amenities
Yeah.
along with it. So,
Yeah, I forgot it was a townhouse.
yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
on me.
again, closer. We've done two townhomes. Closest you'll get to the single family feel. But you've still got, along with our other condos, the soaring ceilings. Mostly, I mean, I don't think we've really seen anything that's dated today. Even the older stuff has been renovated. So most of the product down here is going to be quite new feeling. Beautiful kitchen. Does that satisfy you, Steve?
It's not my. It's nice. It's nice. It's super nice.
Right.
That's-
This guy.
I'm
He
tough to
balked at
please.
the kitchen in the 900,000 place. Oh goodness
A
gracious.
little modest for me.
Yeah. Steve's got expensive
How's the laundry
taste.
room though?
Yeah, we'll
Really,
see.
yeah.
We'll see. What have you got to offer for the laundry room? Look at the primary bedroom.
Now that's impressive.
Yeah, and I'm assuming
You
that's
know that's a king.
It's a king bed that just looks like a twin in the size of that room.
Yeah.
Walkout balcony, very nice. And this one was right along the river as well, which is really nice, adding to the price. You just walk out and walk right along the river. Beautiful primary bathroom.
That's cool.
I don't think I've ever seen river rock that's black like that. It's cool. Yeah, I mean, everything you would expect at this price point. It's gorgeous.
Oh my God.
What do you think?
So clean.
So clean. And you do have the lower level with the little kind of entertaining area over there with the dishwasher and the microwave.
What did you say the finished square footage is?
40, wow. 4,100, which is
Dang.
gigantic. And again, I think this is another property that is more than 2 levels. Let's see what they have to say here. It says 1.5 stories. Interesting. Must be sprawling.
That,
Maybe we got
that feels
feeder
like a
room.
misprint to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
1.5 stories. I don't,
It must be.
Yeah, 1.5.
Some balcony space here.
maybe
And you
it's
do
just
actually
like
have a little
it's
bit
not
of a
like
yard
floor,
out there,
you know what
if you
I'm
can
saying?
see
Like
on the photos.
a half stairway going up.
2-car garage.
Oh, interesting facade. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting the
And you do
stucco.
have a little bit of a yard there, which is super nice.
That's right along the river, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
That's all I've got. That's all I've got, friends and neighbors.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's off 4th Avenue North and West River. Very close to the river.
Right on.
I believe then last bit, probably, potentially, depending on who you are, most important is the market update. What are we seeing in the market? This is stuff that we talk about pretty much every day as a team. Anytime we're together, we're like, what are you seeing? And it's always interesting. But Steve has some data to back it up, and let's talk about it.
Cool. So first, I'm really into looking at the showing activity in the spring. I feel like that's a really good kind of barometer of how competitive it is out there for right now for buyers. So taking a look at this week, the week that ended on Monday, showings were up by about 1,100. So starting to see that increase. Yeah. So this is this last week that just ended. 20,760 showings compared to last week, where we had 19,630. So increase there, which is kind of what you expect to see in the spring. There was that 1 week where it dipped down. Kind of talked about why that may have been, but ever since then, steady climb up. Our first-time buyer, kind of like, heart of the market range, still increasing steadily. I think an additional 600 showings compared to last week, up over 6,000 for the week. And then a little bit of interesting info as well. That part of the market, that 300 to 400 price point, actually has now overtaken percentage-wise what it was compared to last year. So that's 29% of all active showing, or of all showings this last week, were in that range. This time last year it was only 27.5%. So getting even more competitive in that price range by that metric. So just kind of a little bit of interesting data there. Our new listings still quite down compared to last year. This last week down 38.2% compared to last year. So not that new inventory coming on the market is as competitive as it's ever been, for buyers who are targeting that part of the market. And that goes along with what we've been seeing just when we, kind of chat about how are we getting offers accepted, how many are we going, how much above list price are we going. I think we were chatting about this before the live started, but I'm pretty sure I have not written an offer that was not above list price this entire year.
This calendar year.
Yeah, since 2023 started, every offer I've written has been above list price. That's anecdotal information, evidence, but it is kind of going in line with what we're seeing with this overall data.
Yep.
Last thing I just kind of wanted to chat about quickly, I thought was kind of interesting, taking a look at percentage of original list price received on properties. To kind of wrap your mind around that, if a house is listed at $400,000 and it receives an offer for $400,000 and accepts that offer, it received 100% of original list price. If a house is listed at $400,000 and it sits on the market for a couple weeks and then they drop the price to $380,000 and it accepts an offer at $380,000, it has received 95% of original list price, just to kind of give you an idea of what exactly we're talking about here. If you're looking at the data that we have for February of this year, percentage of original list price is down 3.6% compared to February of last year. So all the houses that sold in February saw a decrease of 3.6% in percentage of original list price received. From February 2021 to 22, it was a slight increase of 0.7%. So showing a trend down in terms of percentage of original list price received, but based on what we were just talking about and how competitive is out there for buyers, an important thing to point out is that all February data is for offers that were written in January and December, when the market was kind of at its slowest point. And it is every year in those months, the heart of the winter. So basically what I'm trying to get at here is it will be, although we've seen evidence that percentage of original list price received is down in February, it will be interesting to see what happens in March, April, and May, just based on the data that we have been looking at to show that how competitive it really is out there for buyers, in addition to just kind of the anecdotal data that we talk about with the buyers that we're working with. But yeah, just a little bit more perspective on that. I took a look at everything that sold, every property that sold in the Twin Cities just Thursday and Friday of last week, because I wanted to get a little bit of March data of my own. Just did a quick poll to see how many of those went over list price, and it was about 37.5% of the houses that sold just in those 2 days. Again, small sample size, but around 37% of those closed at over list price. So we are seeing that trend go back up. And I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens once we have all the March data and then into April and May.
Yeah, that is interesting. It's obviously it's nice to have any data that backs up like what we're seeing, and then because we can tell people, hey, this is what it is, and some people have to learn the hard way, which is to lose out on offers on homes that they want, which is fine. We'll make a lot of offers for people, but to the extent that we can save some heartbreak, we would like to, and so to have some data to back it up, very helpful. If you or anybody you know wants to sell a house, not a bad time to be doing it.
Seriously.
If you're doing everything right, if you're marketing it well, if you are pricing it right, you'll get some very competitive terms, and you'll have a pretty good time with it.
It's interesting that you say that. I think it's important to mention that's especially true for single family homes. We've been talking a lot about condos in this North Loop live show.
True.
And as we were talking about before, the condo market does function differently than the single family home market. I think it's important to make that clear to buyers and sellers. That it's the expectations should be adjusted when you're talking about single family homes versus condos, and pricing strategies, and what you should expect when you're submitting offers on those properties as well. Because it's a whole different animal.
Totally different. Townhomes are even slightly different than single families. A little faster moving. Well, quite a bit faster moving on the whole than the condo market. But the single family market, there's the most premium for that. Obviously, we're happy to help you sell a condo as well, but it's a different. It's not like, hold on to your hat for the weekend and like you're gonna get this thing gone. But it's we have a lot of buyers who have very specific homes they're looking for, if you are at all interested, you will not have a hard time selling your house right now. Single family home. As always, this has been a To the Twin Cities live show. Curious to know your thoughts on any of this. We are thinking about pre-recording these and chopping them up and making them maybe move slightly faster, although we do enjoy the live aspect. We enjoy the chat to whatever extent we get it. Today, not so much. Hey, Justin. But it's, I don't know. We'd love to know your thoughts on any of these things.
Any information that you're interested that maybe we're not providing that you would like to hear about? I'd love to.
Feedback appreciated.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are for y'all.
Yeah, exactly. It's, there are certain people that we suspect will find value in these things, people looking into these areas who want to dive deeper into it. That's what it's here for. Thank you very much for watching. I implore you, if you're considering a real estate agent, if you're considering us, I implore you to show you anybody who has worked harder for you before even meeting you than we have. Thank you for watching. This has been North Loop, Minneapolis live show, deep dive. We'll see you next week.